Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to drive a manual transmission car, also known as a stick shift, so let's get started. In an automatic transmission car, there's going to be two pedals, brake and the gas. However, in a manual transmission car, the pedal on the left is the third one, and that is called the clutch. With the clutch, it operates as a communicator between the engine and the transmission. This is so the car can move. To move the gear stick, push in on the clutch all the way with your foot. If it's not pushing all the way, it won't move. So make sure to push in all the way. Then you'll be able to move it. Before you start the engine, to feel where the gears are, if you press your foot all the way down on the clutch, you can move the shifter into the different gears. Second gear, third, the labels on them is the corresponding direction of where you can push into that gear, as shown. So before you go ahead and start the vehicle, how the gears work is there's first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and then reverse. You can kind of feel the gears and mess around with it when the car is off by pushing the clutch in. You can move the gear changer. When people park the car, it'll be in first gear. It kind of goes with the brake, so if you put it in gear, it helps it even more for it not to roll back. Usually just putting it in gear or putting the brake up is totally fine, the parking brake, so it doesn't roll back. But to be safe, if they're on a hill, people will put it in gear so that it for sure won't roll back or anything won't happen. Before you start the vehicle, let's say for example you have the keys, you put the parking brake down, and if it's in gear, when you go to start the vehicle, and by pushing the clutch in, that's how you start the vehicle. You push the clutch in and then turn the key. You start the car and you turn the engine over, it's running. But before you let your foot off the clutch, you can't do that. If you let go of the clutch, then the engine will stop, turn off. If you let go of the clutch and if it's in gear, that's why you want to take it out of gear and just put it in neutral. Then you can let your foot off the clutch. Like I said, let's say it's in second gear. You turn the car on, right? You push the clutch in and turn it on, and the engine's running. You take the transmission and you put it in the neutral position, and then you can take your foot off the clutch. If you leave it in third gear and you take your foot off the clutch, the engine will stop. So you don't want that. You want to just take it in neutral, and then you'll have no issues whatsoever. So you have to make sure it's in neutral when you first start, and parking brake down because you want to be parked. So you want to push in all the way for the first pedal on your left foot, which is the clutch. You're going to push it in and you're going to go into first gear. First gear, once that's in, you want to give it a little bit of gas, but while you're giving gas to the clutch, you want to let go of the clutch halfway. So I'm giving it around 2,000 RPM. I'm letting go of the clutch. I'm still giving it gas. I'm going, and you let go of the clutch by this time. So that's how you get moving. And I'm so sorry about the sun. It's really, you can't see anything. What you want to do is, what helps in the beginning to get into gear first is you need to look at the revs. Essentially, the revs go in coordination with the gas. So, if I gas it, you see the revs are coming up. Now the clutch is the first pedal to your left foot. You're going to push all the way down on that, and you're going to take the gear changer or stick shift. You're going to push it to first gear, and then you're going to give it gas. So you want it to be maybe around 15 to 2000 RPM. Give it a little bit of gas, keep putting in your clutch, and then let it go of the clutch as you get rolling. And now we're moving, and essentially if you want to stop the car now, you can't move it at all. So you got to push in on the clutch, and then you can move it to get into neutral. So I'm going to show you one more time again. You want to push the clutch all the way in, you want to take it into first gear, and then you're going to give it gas as you're letting go of the clutch. So if you look at my foot, it's slowly coming off the pedal. I'm going to stall now. If I don't give it enough gas, we're going to stop the engine. And now we give it gas and we let go of the clutch. You don't want to give it a lot of gas. You want to give it maybe right under 3,000 RPM. So if you can see on the odometer, 3,000. If you give it any more, you're going to make the car kind of jerk or go pretty quickly. You don't want that. You want a smooth transition. Let's go again. So again, we take the shifter, we go into first, and then we give it gas to 2,000 RPM, and let go of the clutch as you're giving it gas. The motion's gonna look something like this. You give it gas, and you slowly release your foot off the clutch. Another thing is, you can't start the car in third or fourth. With some newer cars, I believe you can start it in second gear, but typically you just want to start it in first, especially with older cars. So with the first gear, you don't have to necessarily let go of your foot off all the way on the clutch. If I let go of the clutch just a little bit, do you see, well, I have to give it a little bit of gas for this one. Do you see how we start moving? But my foot's on the clutch still. So we're moving like this, right? we can drive around like this, but typically you want to let go of the clutch eventually, because if you're moving like that all the time and your foot's just kind of pushing in on the clutch like that, over time it puts some slight wear and tear on the clutch, and then you have to replace it possibly sooner. But with all manual transmission cars, the clutches usually have to be replaced at some point in time. If you're more comfortable by just kind of putting your foot in the clutch and just learning how to get the car going, that's totally okay. It's a learning curve. Now let's say realistically you're in your parking lot or driveway and you need to get into reverse to actually get going first. So as you see, there's the R for reverse gear. You're going to push all the way down for first, push the clutch in so you can actually move it. You take it down to reverse, and then you want to give it gas as well. Give it same thing, the 2000 RPM, and let go of the clutch. And now we're moving in the reverse gear. Now you can reverse and then put it into neutral. So that's one way, I guess, how you're supposed to technically do it. But the thing I do when I'm trying to reverse out of a parking lot or a driveway with a lot of cars around me is I won't take it into I won't go in the full kind of reverse gear. I'll kind of do something called riding the clutch. I'll put my foot all the way down in the clutch and I'll put it into the reverse gear, and I give it a little bit of gas. So you see the car is moving in reverse now, but we're not in that full, my foot's still on the clutch. I haven't let go yet, so we're not fully in the gear. We're just kind of moving because we're giving it a little bit of juice. And that's what I like to do. I like to go slow and steady, easy, just go back out smoothly. When you try to go into reverse like that and you try to go into gear, you know, sometimes I'm worried if you can go out too fast and you hit something. Real quick, I just want to give some background information, a little bit of education on how the gears and the odometer kind of work together. So with the gears, as we see, there's first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and then reverse. Some transmissions, they're laid out differently. You'll see reverse sometimes is here, and the first is here. Sometimes you gotta push in on it and go to left, and they work sometimes differently, but traditionally this is how it works normally. And as far as the number of gears, there's typically 6 or 7 gear transmissions, and 5, but 5 and 6 are usually the most common that I've seen. So with the gears, let's say second or third gear, for example, the way that this kind of functions is with each gear, first you can only go maybe 30 or 25 miles per hour, and if you go any more than that, this red line right here, it'll tick around 6,000 RPM and be touching around maybe 7,500. That's not what you want, because if you go too much in the red line, it starts hurting the engine, and you don't want to live in that gear for a long time. If you're going 40 miles an hour, you want to switch into second gear. And second gear has a higher bandwidth to go more speed and to keep your revs down lower. So the higher the gears are, the lower the revs will stay. But the lower the gears, the higher the revs. It's reverse opposites. The speed, like I mentioned, first gear, you want to, maybe it's a 25 mile hour speed or 20 mile per hour speed. Second is for maybe 30 to 40 miles per hour. And then you want to change into third. And third is a gear a lot of people cruise in, but typically it's third or fourth. Third is around, I believe, maybe like 40 to 55 miles per hour. And then fourth gear, it's like 50 to maybe 65 or almost 70. And if you're on the freeway, a lot of people are in fourth gear. If the revs are higher, your miles per gallon won't be as good because it's using more of the engine work. But the transmission can go in a different gear, so it takes that stress off the engine. So people are usually in fourth gear, but there is a fifth gear as well. If you want to keep the revs even lower and you're on the freeway, go doing like 75 miles per hour, that's when that fifth gear comes in. We want to do the same thing. We want to get into first, push the clutch down, and you want to give it maybe 1500 RPM, 2000, let go of the clutch slowly as you're giving it gas, and now you're going to see you're starting moving, and now you're off. Make sure you put the foot off the clutch as well once you give it enough gas. One thing to note, when you're pushing your foot off the clutch, you'll see that the revs drop a little bit. They don't stay steady. They'll actually drop as you let go of the clutch, and that's trying to signify that, hey, you got to give it more gas to start moving because it's not fully in gear yet and the engine is losing the power. That's why the revs drop. So I'll show you real quick again, if I can demonstrate it. We're now pretty much, you know, like 500 revs, and then the engine's just idling, right? And you want to push the clutch in, get into first, and you're gonna give it gas. But as I let go of the clutch, as you're giving it less gas, the revs will drop. I believe it's you giving it less gas, or maybe it has something to do with the clutch. It's either or, but the point is the revs drop, and if they drop too much, you're gonna stall the car, and stalling the car means the engine turns off. You want to make sure you're giving it steady gas. You don't want to just give it one rev and then just let go of the clutch. You want to make sure it's like a combined motion and they come together so that you can get into gear smoothly. So I'm going to show you real quick. So if you put the clutch in, you go into first. Let's just clutches all the way in. You're giving it 1500 RPM, right? You're just staying steady. Now you want to slowly just let go of the clutch. It's gonna drop now. You see how it's dropping? Look, it's dropping. Give it gas, give it gas. You gotta give it to 1500 RPM, right around there. Keep giving it gas, make sure it's steady, and let go of the clutch, and then you're off. And that's how that works to get into first gear. Now, I want to demonstrate to you guys how to get into second gear. Right, let's say you can't, you don't want to stay in high rev count. It's not good for the engine. You can only go 25 miles per hour. You need to get into second. So to get into second, you want to push the clutch in, you want to push to second, and you're gonna give it gas just a little bit and let go of the clutches again. That's all. That's all it is. Getting into second is a little more straightforward than first, because you already got the kind of hang of it, and you just give it a little bit of gas. It's not as, I guess, dramatic or more effort, maybe, I guess is the word. And to get into third gear, we're not, I guess, you can get into third gear, but you typically want to be at like 20 miles per hour or above. But I can show you real quick. Let's skip the speed. Third gear, you're gonna push in on the clutch, go into third, and you're gonna let go. As you let go of the clutch, give it gas just a little bit, and you're in third gear now. When you're gonna go in a different gear, put your foot all the way on the clutch and shift into that gear. And before you release your foot off the clutch, just give it a little bit of gas and then release. And then you'll be in that gear. Another thing I want to discuss is braking. Let's say you want to brake the vehicle just for a little bit. Just brake, and that's it. And just to drop your speed. That's totally fine. You can do that. What you can't do is, let's say there's a stop sign ahead, and you have to brake the vehicle all the way till it's pretty much, at idle. You can't do that if you're in gear. You have to take it into neutral, because if you're in gear and you stop all the way at a stop sign, the engine will shut off. It'll stall on you. So for that not to happen, you just have to take it into neutral. You just go into neutral, you brake all the way, and now there's no problem. But if you brake and it's still in gear, the engine will shut off. If you want to slow down the vehicle, press the brake in. However, if you come to a complete stop, you want to push your foot in the clutch and put it into neutral. Then you can put the car into a complete stop. So let's go out on the road and drive a manual and transmission car. We're on summer tires, and this is kind of a sports car vehicle. So if you can't see the road, you want to just give it gas a little bit and inch up. Put your foot in the clutch, give it gas, and just move up a little bit so you can see. Now we see the road is good to go. We give it gas, let go of the clutch, turn signal, always remember turn signal. And now we go into second. You go foot in the clutch, you go into second, and now you can go into third and give a little bit of gas, and there you go. Dodge Viper, very cool. Fourth gear, give it gas, and you're good. And now you're on the road, moving. So we're in fourth gear right now. This is what fifth gear looks like. You go all the way to the right, up, you give it gas, and now we're going. Now we can go. Give it gas. And then we're off. So driving down the road, it's pretty much like a regular automatic car, unless you want to make a gear change, or you have to come to a stop and you have to take it into neutral. But other than that, it's like a regular car. That's something I want to discuss as well. If you, let's say, go really slow, not really slow, just, you drop your speed down, you hit the brakes, the vehicle, if you're in 4th gear, which is what I'm in right now, it'll start to hesitate. If you take it down to 30 miles an hour and you try to build up the revs, it'll be a lot harder. So once you drop down the revs, what's easier to do is if you take it into 3rd and give it gas, now it's much easier to accelerate. And now you can go into 4th again once you get up to speed. And it's pretty straightforward. The thing is, this concept is also kind of called downshifting. Downshifting in a car is something that I'm not super experienced at, but I kind of know how to do. The concept is you want to go into a lower gear, not higher. That's also called rev matching, meaning you match the revs to the gear that you're trying to change into. Meaning you just have to give it enough revs so that it's a smooth transition to the lower gear. How that concept works is you drop your speed down a little bit, you go down to the lower gear, and just like getting to 1st gear, you give it some revs, you let go of the clutch, and now you're into that lower gear now. So that's essentially the basics you need to know about driving a manual car. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. That should be enough to get you going. There's other techniques as well that you get more advanced into it, called heel toe. That's essentially helping with going to lower gears and downshifting. So that's kind of another concept that I'm not too experienced at. That is a new Nissan Z, and this one is from the 90s. So there's another one right there in black. So with people who are car enthusiasts, they typically like manual transmission cars because you can feel the gears and change them yourself, and there's a lot more driving engagement involved versus kind of a normal automatic transmission. A lot of automatic transmissions have gotten so fast, so good, that manual transmissions are kind of, they don't compete. But the beauty in them is that you can have fun your own way, and you get to experience the different gears and shift them yourself. So we're coming out to a stop sign right now. Oof. We're good. You can turn the vehicle, and you can have a little fun with it, rev it out a little bit, and then go into 2nd. If you don't give it gas as you switch to a higher gear, you'll feel it jerk you a little bit, because it's not a smooth transition between the engine or I guess between the clutch and the transmission. That's why it's good to always give it a little bit of gas when you're going in the higher gears. Okay, so here's some footage of me just, having a little bit of fun, showing you what manual transmission is all about, why people prefer it. These brakes could probably use some new pads, they feel kind of old a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna make a left turn here. Take into neutral. Sometimes when you're moving a little bit, you can go into a second already. And then you can get rolling because there's enough speed. You can go into second or third if you're naturally just moving the car already. That's totally fine. You can just go into second, give it a little bit of gas, and it'll go. If it's a really slow speed, sometimes second, it'll have trouble getting into that gear, but it'll still work sometimes. See right here is the red light. You want to just take it into neutral. There are some people who say it's healthy for the car if you downshift and then go into neutral, like you get to second and then take it in neutral. I'm not sure if it makes a huge difference. I don't think you really have to do that. And another thing is, if you're on a hill and you go into first gear, the vehicle will roll back on you. That's something you have to practice a little bit. It's really frustrating sometimes. The way that I found that really helps is, you want to give it enough gas and kind of do the process a little quicker. Let go of the clutch while also giving it gas so it gets into first pretty quickly and it doesn't roll back too far and hit the other vehicle. But driving a manual in a car is sometimes a challenge and it's something you got to practice just a little bit. You can find a hill somewhere, not a lot of traffic or cars, or maybe not even on a road. So kind of a quick example of how to go into lower gear or downshift is you just drop the speed down. You go into third and you rev it, and there we go, we're in third gear now. Now we can go back into fourth. We see a police stop here. We slow down. So when you're slowing down, you typically want to try to downshift. Yeah, I revved it a little too much there. Maybe a little past 2,000. This road's pretty rough. They have to redo it. Oh. Got a stop sign here. Another car stopped, we're gonna go. So this is what it's going to be when the engine stops or it stalls. It's going to look like this. Let's say, for example, I put it, it's in gear right now, and I try braking all the way. It'll be like this. That's it, and then it just turns off and there's lights. It isn't the end of the world if this happens. The car isn't destroyed or anything. It's just, you don't want to do this too often. It's going to, you know, it's not good for the engine and things like that. So it'll start back up again. No, oh no, we need the battery jumper. Alrighty, now this is what it's like sometimes with older cars. So as you can see, we got some custom red leather seats. It says Fairlady Z, looks very good. And then here's this other material. Suede center console, it's really nice. Red stitching here. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just gonna jump real quick. You're all good. You need to jump? I got it. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Sure? Yep, I got it. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I have a jumper box. Yep, I appreciate the help. Thank you. Put the red prong on like that. Put the black one. Oh, it's sparking at me. Okay. Push this in if you have to, or turn the knob. Now the battery's back on. When it's connected right, you'll know the battery and everything's on. Okay. Make sure you're not in gear, and give it a go. Awesome. Alright. Probably needs a new battery. This doesn't have hood struts, so we gotta use this prop here. This has a V6 engine, naturally aspirated. There's not a lot of room to work on this car. Glass headlights. This also has T-tops. You can take off in the summer and just put them in the trunk. And when we get to the destination, I'll show you how to park the car. Clutch in, put it to first, give it a little bit of gas, and then let go of the clutch. Let's say you're in neutral and the engine's idling and you come to a stop. You're ready to park. You take the key, you turn it off. You want to put the parking brake up and you're parked. And if you want to, you can also put it in gear as well. Just remember, when you go to start it, put the foot on your clutch and then take it into neutral. If you don't, that's how a lot of bad starts happen. The engine will stop and sometimes jerk forward, so you got to be careful of that. This is a 91 Nissan 300ZX rear-wheel drive coupe. Some custom wheels, summer tires. With manual transmission, this is the only transmission, and automatic transmissions. Those are pretty much the two main transmissions to cars. I don't believe there's like a third one. So if you learn this, you pretty much know how to drive every type of transmission in a car, which is pretty neat. And automatic transmissions, the thing with them is that's why I like for daily driving use to have an automatic, because they have a torque converter and you don't have to change gears at when you come to a stop. You don't have to go into neutral, you don't have to go into first, second. It does it all for you, the torque converter. And that's what's really nice about it. When you stop the car, it won't stall and it takes care of the gears for you. So let's say it's traffic, stop signs, stop lights. That's what's really convenient and nice.